This question says the functions f and g are defined as follows. F of x is equal to 5x plus 7 and g of x is equal to 3x minus 1. For the functions given above, determine f inverse of -3. Now you are looking at a math video, and if you are looking at a math video, you must be participating. So you must have a pen, pencil, and an exercise book in your hand, your calculator, ruler, pencil, etc. So therefore, please pause the video and copy down this question so you can be actively participating in the video, so you can absorb as much of the content that's therein. So we need to find f inverse of x. Okay. So in order to, let's do a little revision of how to find the inverse of a function. Here we have a similar situation. F of x is equal to 2x minus 1, g of x is equal to 3x plus 2, and h of x is equal to 5 raised to the x power. And the question is saying find g inverse of x. So let us revise. Here's the working, and let us revise it before we can move on to the question at hand. How to find g inverse of x? The first step is to write down the function. So that's the first step. Write down the function. Here it is. G of x is equal to 3x plus 2. So pause the video and write this down. The second step is to replace g of x with the letter y. Here it is. Replace g of x with the letter y. That's the second step. You can treat g of x like, let's say g of x is Mr. Brown, and the letter y would be like a pronoun he. So you can replace Mr. Brown with he. Okay? So you can replace g of x with the letter y. So y is like a little pronoun. Okay? That's the second step. Now the third step now is to swap the letters x and y. So where you have y, you put x, and where you have x, you put y. You swap the letters x and y. Now the fourth step now is to make y the subject of the equation. That's it has its steps in itself to make y the subject of the equation. You have to rearrange to get y by itself. And this is what is happening here. Make y the subject of the equation. So that's the fourth step. So the fourth step, as we said, is to make y the subject of the equation. In other words, rearrange the equation to get y by itself. Now the fifth step now, when y is by itself, then you replace y now, the letter y, with g inverse of x. And here it is, g inverse of x is equal to x minus 2 over 3. So you have g of x is equal to 3x plus 2. Y is equal to 3x plus 2. Then you have x is equal to 3y plus 2. Now we have to cancel out the plus 2 by subtracting, cancel out the 3 by dividing. Now we get y by itself, y is equal to x minus 2 over 3. And we replace y with g of inverse of x. G inverse of x is equal to x minus 2 over 3. So the fifth step is to replace the letter y with g inverse of x. So here it is. After you have replaced the letter y with g inverse of x, what you have after the equal sign is the final answer. And in this case, it's x minus 2 over 3. So here's a revision of finding the inverse of a function. All right, so please take this down. So here now we're going to find f inverse of x first before you find f inverse of 3. So what is the first step to find f inverse of x? Based on what we just did, please pause the video and rewind. It will tell you have to write down the function. That's the first step. In this case, it's f. Now the second step is to replace f of x with the letter y. So let's do that. So here is f of x is equal to 5x plus 7. We delete f of x and you write y. Y is equal to 5x plus 7. Pause the video and write this down. Now the third step now is to replace the letters x and y. So where you have y, you put x, and where you have x, you put y. So now what I have to type here now in the first step is x, okay, is equal to 5y plus 7. Please pause the video and take this down. So now the fourth step is to cancel out the plus 7 and the 5 to make y the subject, because as the fourth step is to rearrange the equation to make y the subject. That means to get y by itself. So we have to cancel out the plus 7 and then we're going to cancel out the 5 times. All right. To cancel out the plus 7, we have to do the opposite of plus, which is minus. We have to minus 7. Now, if we minus 7 on the right, we have to minus 7 on the left. What you do on the right, you have to do on the left. So now we have canceled out a plus 7 by minusing 7. So now we do not have any plus 7 on the right, but we have a minus 7 on the left. So now we zero in now to the 5 that is multiplying to the y. The opposite of multiply is divide. So to cancel out that multiplying 5, we have to divide by 5, put it under itself. But if we divide by 5 on the right, we have to divide by 5 on the left. What you do on the right, you have to do on the left for the equation to remain balanced. So we divide by 5 on both sides, on the left and on the right. The 5 going to cancel out from the right side, and we are left with y, that's reading from right to left. Y is equal to x minus 7 over 5. So the first step is a process by itself, the rearranging process. The fourth step have little sub-step in it. So please pause this video and copy this down. So we move on now to the fifth step, which is to replace the letter y with f inverse of x. So we're going to have x minus 7 over 5, you know. But we're not going to have the letter y anymore. We're going to have f inverse of x, because that's what we have found in the first place. F inverse of x is equal to x minus 7 over 5. So please copy this down. So now we are in a position to find what is f inverse of negative 3, because we know what is f inverse of x. So f inverse of negative 3 is equal to negative 3 subtract 7 over 5. Okay. Negative 3 subtract 7 will give us negative 10 over 5. And negative 10 over 5 will give you negative 2. So f inverse of negative 3 is equal to negative 2. Please copy this down, rewind it, replay it, repeat it a couple of times so that you can learn it as much as possible.